What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chaotic Minds. As always, it's Winged.
And a midget.
And I will apologize for
If you
a
hear some
lack of show.
scratching.
Well, if you hear scratching, that's the ferret. But for a lack of a show last week,
We were kind of dead.
not only that, but I also wasn't in the right mind space. So I decided that we needed to take a week. So there's my reasoning.
Yay, brain function.
But we're back to, we're back to it. And we got a couple of interesting things to talk about here today. So do we want to start with yours or mine? Because I only have one.
How about we do mine, then yours, then mine?
That works.
Okay.
So what is the first topic?
Okay. All the audacity in the world belongs to this teacher.
Okay.
She had a student, third grade, keep in mind. Third grade student.
First off, where was this at?
I believe in Michigan.
Okay.
Don't quote me on it, but I believe it was Michigan.
Okay.
The student, a third grader, was sick, had a fever, mom called him out.
Okay.
First day he's missed all school year. He went back the next day, and the teacher had the audacity to send him home with a word search puzzle that says call out, miss out.
All right.
And it had, the words he had to find were things like criminal record, failure, no lunch recess, like punishments.
Okay.
And the kid even asked his mom, what's truant? Because that was one of the words on there. One day, a third grader,
Yeah.
this poor kid got called up in the front of the class because he wasn't even given the makeup assignment from the day before that he missed. He was given that assignment.
Okay.
And it's just like, really?
Well,
Where are we shaming these kids like that?
I mean,
One day?
that kind of leads to that leads me to two things here. First and foremost, what is wrong with that teacher? Because
Seriously.
and how long has that teacher been in the business of teaching children? Because typically you won't see that with younger teachers. Younger teachers
Yeah.
are chill and all that. Like anybody who's been in less than 20 years, right?
Yeah.
However, there are a lot of the older teachers that they get over 20 years that they just get sick and tired and they get worn out and shit like that. And they're like, no, I don't care. And they go ahead and they punish these students, or they play obvious favoritism or stuff like that towards these students. I mean, there are stories across Facebook and Reddit and Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that where it's oh, you're having a bad week, you're having a bad day, or you're just tired of the school year and the students, so you're going to target one student. Okay. There was a Reddit story that this kid when he was in school, this kid he wasn't the best student, but he was average. And there was one all the other every teacher that he had liked him except for this old bat. She must have been teaching for 25, 30 years.
She's one of those ones that's got a stick up their ass.
Oh yeah. And he
just there for the tenure.
Yeah, he was doing everything that he could, but she would get he would turn stuff in, and she wouldn't grade his stuff and then say, "Oh, you never turned it in." And he finally, and
We're kind
I guess
dealing with that with Matthias.
Well, it got to a point where he started recording what she was saying to some of the students, and he purposely messed up something, and she called him she went full 1980s, 60s, 70s, and called him a straight R word. And he recorded it and then brought it to the superintendent, and she tried to be like, "Oh no, that never happened." All the student did was pull out his phone, slide it across, and hit play. And she got fired. That was the last day he saw her.
and that's the thing is I can understand if a student is absent all the time.
Yeah.
doing something like having an extra assignment to because you're not going to be able to give them full credit on something because timing policies, whatever,
Right.
due dates. I get that. But to call this third grader, 8-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
10-year-old, whatever the age,
Mm-hmm.
out for missing one day, calls him up to the front of the class and says, because you weren't here yesterday, this is your assignment for makeup work.
And then it says that that pretty much putting all these words like you're a failure, you're truant.
Yeah.
You're gonna have like all that. Yeah. Which then leads me to the my second point, and that's this is the type of shit that once he's an adult, if it continues on this way, this is how we can go. Like people can go into a job, right?
Yeah.
And they earn sick time, but they never take it.
Yep.
Because the managers are always hard. Don't take sick time. You can't take your personal days. You can't take vacation days. Stuff like that. And people are just like, okay, fine. And they don't realize, like, they don't assert their self-worth into these things.
Yeah.
And they never take off when they're sick, and they end up burning themselves out, getting injured, or in the worst possible scenario, they end up dying because they're working themselves to death.
Exactly. And it's just like, I don't know where the teacher got this audacity from, but she needs to, like, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, like, if
he's a third grader. Come on. He has no choice. His mom says, hey, you're sick. You can't go to school today. It's not like you can go, I'm just going to sneak out the house. I have no way to get to my school, which is like 11 miles away, but sure.
Yeah. Like, I remember wanting to stay home on several occasions, not because I wasn't feeling well, but just because, I just didn't feel like going, and my mom was like, no, you're going. There were several occasions where I legitimately was sick, and I tried to tell my mom that. She's like, well, you're going to school anyways. Went to school, and then like an hour into the day, got sent home, and my mom had to pick me up, and I just looked at my mom, and she's like, don't. I'm like, what? She goes, don't say it. I already know what you're going to say. Don't say it. Maybe
you should have listened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said not to say it. Yeah. Well, I'm sick. What's the worst you can do? I'm already feeling like crap. But like for it to be a third grader, like I could see if it was.
And he's
like,
only missed one day.
Yeah, like I could see if it was like a high schooler that had a few days under his belt, calling out for unspecified reasons, but the fact that his mom called him out, right? Which means she probably took him to the doctor, which means
or
she
took his temperature,
got a doctor's note, and then he brought that in and turned it in. No, fuck that teacher. And the fact that it was the first day in a school year that's been going, that we're almost to the halfway point.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that he's been called out? No, fuck that teacher.
He didn't miss a single day of school in first or second grade.
She's just pissed.
She's just got her panties in a bunch.
She's angry for whatever reason. Maybe she
just needs to get some.
Or like her husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend, whoever, just isn't showing any sort of affection. So
she's not showing sort of affection.
Yep.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like a third grader, really.
Yeah, I mean that is ridiculous.
Like the fuck.
That's straight up ridiculous.
And it's like I was reading some of the comments, and one of the comments was, people call out for all sorts, or have their children called out for all sorts of embarrassing reasons that they're not comfortable with sharing. That is no reason to shame a child.
Yeah.
For one. And then another one was like, we have no idea what was going on in this kid's day, or if he was sick, or what the reason was. Why is this teacher being allowed to be around our children if she's going to act like this?
Right.
And then one guy had the nerve that says, well, you win some, you lose some.
No, that's not a win some, lose some kind of thing.
It's like, really? And people kept commenting on his stuff like, how heartless can you be? He goes, I never missed one single day of school until I was a senior in high school, and then I just ditched. And people are like, that's the issue. He was sick.
Yeah.
His mother called him out for a reason. It's not like he can just sneak out of the house at 8, 10 years old.
Well.
And go the 11 miles to school.
And if you are sneaking out of the house, You're not going 11 miles to school.
No, I'm going to the nearest nickel arcade
Well, yeah.
at that age.
Yeah. But no, it's like, I mean, even adults do it. Like, we'll call out just because I don't feel like dealing with this person.
I'm
Or-
having problems with my vision. I just can't see myself coming in today.
Yeah, or, you
I
know,
told Carol that the other day.
or like, you know, I'm going to go fishing. I'm playing hooky today, so I can go fish. I don't know why I'm southern. all of a
Hunting.
sudden.
My uncle did it for hunting.
Yeah.
He got
Like-
wrote up because he posted a picture of this 8-point buck on Facebook, forgetting his boss was on his Facebook.
Or, like, my personal favorite is, oh, I'm calling in sick. Oh, I'm at a baseball game. Oh, my boss is also here at the baseball game because he also called in sick. It's like, do I write you up or do we just not say anything?
We just don't say a damn thing.
Yeah.
I mean, my supervisor and I have contemplated playing hooky and not coming in to find out what the hell they do because we're the ones that are covering everybody's shit for overnights.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and that's why I get along with her because her and I are just like, yeah, whatever. Anyway.
I think the overnight shift would work just fine. Just fine.
Not on Sundays.
Just fine.
Because there's only 3 of us there on Sundays.
Just fine.
What, you going to stay overnight?
No.
Because I don't play, because I play hooky?
No, I don't play those games. You know I don't play those games.
You would rat my ass out.
Well, I could, if she decided to not play hooky, it would work just fine.
Oh, yeah.
If you decided to play hooky, you're damn skippy. If they asked me, I'd be honest. But they don't ask. I know nothing. I don't volunteer information. I ain't no
Yeah.
snitch.
Snitches get stitches, and I know where you sleep.
Now, if I'm getting paid, then I can understand that. And so could you.
Yeah.
But anyway, no,
Anyways.
it's like back to this kid. I'm sorry, kid, that you have such a shit teacher, and I'm sorry, Mom, that you have to deal with said shit teacher. The only thing I can hope is that you get to see this teacher for a parent-teacher conference, or you requested a one-on-one meeting with said teacher, and then you looked at the principal and asked, "Can I just get like 5 minutes in this room by myself with said teacher?" Bet you any money that teacher's a female.
Oh, yeah.
Bet you any
It is
money
a
it's an
female.
older female.
No. She was my age.
An older female.
Shut the fuck up, Charles. I am 40. I'm not old yet. Anyway, let's move on to your
Okay.
topic.
So mine is something that actually got brought up, like just randomly. I was watching somebody and they said it, and then like I was watching a YouTube video. I was watching somebody on Twitch, and they said it, and then I was watching a couple of YouTube videos, and like coincidentally, a couple of the comments in those YouTube videos were along the same lines.
Okay.
And it all started with who they announced is voicing Garfield in the new Garfield movie.
Okay.
Chris Pratt.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I love Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Granted, I haven't seen the Mario movie. However, I like Chris Pratt. He's a great actor.
I think he'd make a good Garfield. He brings that grown-up Garfield.
Here's where everybody else, and I happen to agree, here's where everybody else has an issue with it, right? The new Garfield movie is animated, right?
Okay.
There is a term for people who voice animated stuff, right? Whether it's cartoons, anime, movies like that, video games. You know what it is?
What?
Voice actors.
Yeah.
That's all they do. They're not on the screen. Their voices are behind the characters, but they're not on the screen.
Yeah.
For example, Travis Willingham,
Yeah.
voice actor. Has he been on the screen a few times? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He cross-dressed in an episode of Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
which was
it's hilarious.
hysterical to see. You know, but he's mainly
A voice
actor. He lends his voice to stuff you see on TV.
Yeah.
Sam Riegel, same thing. You know,
Ashley Johnson is the exception to the critical role.
Ashley Johnson is an actor
Mhm.
who also is a voice actor. But then we have like even some like non-critical role people, like I can't really say non-critical role people, but like Felicia Day, Erika Ishii, right?
Yeah.
These guys are voice actors.
Yeah.
Why are we giving these voiceover roles to non-voice actors?
That I can see.
Because we have this entire community filled with people who want work, who put in their auditions for these characters.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh no, we want big star power."
They want the name brand on there.
And it does not make any sense. And while I like some of these actors, you know, where that do these voice acting for these animated movies, you know, I like how they are. We should be giving these roles to people that this is what they do.
This is their bread and butter.
This is their job,
Mm-hmm.
is to provide voices. Chris Pratt can go be in a movie where he's on camera.
Yeah.
Let him do that. Let's leave the voice acting to the voice actors.
Yeah, and I can
You
see
know,
that.
And it kind of goes along the lines, or the same lines as, like, for example, the first, I don't know how many seasons, of Family Guy. Do you know the guy who played Cleveland was white?
Yeah.
He heard somebody on YouTube, some up-and-coming voice actor,
Mm-hmm.
doing Cleveland's voice.
Yep.
On par with him. He went to Seth MacFarlane and said, "Hey, I want to step down from this role.
And this is
I want to give it to this voice actor who's a black guy who can do Cleveland just as well as I do."
Yep.
And Seth MacFarlane's like, "Let's see what he's got." Had an audition. Kid blew it out of the water, and he's now the voice actor for Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's how it should be.
We make this big deal about, like, we need to have these voice actors be represented and be playing these things, or we get up in arms about whitewashing certain characters in movies that come from video games or books or whatnot. Why can we not do the same thing? Why can we not have voice actors have voice acting roles?
See, here's the thing. What are these studios all about?
I know.
Those Benjamins.
I know.
They want to have a big name like Chris Pratt in the movie just so that they will make more money.
I know.
But they're afraid that with all this, with the strike being over and, you know, with that whole time that they were on strike with SAG and the Writers Guild and everybody was on strike, nobody was making any money. So now they're like, okay, we've got to, like, get some real money rolling back in.
Well, and that brings up another point to it. Like, these acting, these directing, or these movie producers, whatever.
Okay.
Warner Brothers
had
a movie called Coyote versus Acme.
Yep.
About Wile E. Coyote going head to head with the Acme company.
Yep.
From the cartoons. It is completed.
Yep.
After they couldn't do anything because of the strikes.
Okay.
But after the strikes were over, they're like, "Cool, now we can go ahead. You know what? Actually, we're gonna cancel this entire project. It was already done.
Yep.
We're gonna cancel it." People heard about it.
Yep.
And the reason why they were going to cancel it is because, it's a write-off. It's a tax write-off. People found out about that, and they're like, nah. And they went up in arms. And then Warner Brothers went ahead and backtracked on that and said, actually, let's find somebody else who can put their name on it, like directing or, whatever, and maybe change up a few things, yada, yada. And,
it's a CYA thing.
Yeah. It's like, look,
they don't want their production company to go down the toilet because of some stupid decision they made. But the thing is, And here's the big thing. Here's the biggest question that I'm going to ask about this.
Okay.
Is he the only big name star in that movie?
In Garfield?
Mm-hmm.
It's the only one I've heard of so far. I don't know. I haven't looked at the cast list.
Because if he's the only big name star, that would be one thing. If he's one of several big name stars, that's another.
Well, it doesn't matter if he's the only one or one of many.
It does.
The fact is that these characters need to be voiced by people who this is what they do.
Yes. But here, let me play devil's advocate on it real
Okay.
quick. Okay? We've got a movie that we're filming. We've got all these voice actors that are getting their feet wet, getting their name out there
Okay.
on this movie.
Okay.
We put it out with just them and it bombs. What is that going to say for these voice actors? But if we have one big name star, like Chris Pratt, do a voice in the movie, and we make $100 million, and it gets rave reviews or whatever, look, these voice actors are on the map now.
Well, here's where I'm going to counteract that. You're saying if we
That's
don't have...
what they're thinking is what I'm saying.
Here's where I'm going to counteract that. You're saying if we make this movie, right, and there's no major named stars,
Yeah.
it's going to bomb.
No, I'm saying that's what they're thinking.
No. However, if we go ahead and we get this one person, this one top tier AAA actor on it, it's not going to bomb at all. What happens when it does? What happens
that's
when
my
it does?
point about it. Is like they don't think about that. They think that, oh, we have this big name actor. People that love this actor are going to come see this movie, so we're going to make all kinds of money. But it's like, that's my thing. It is, if it worked that way, fantastic. If that was their sole reason for doing it, to give smaller actors or voice actors a chance by putting a big name person in there, if that was the only reason they did it, fantastic, cool. But if it was just solely so they could make money, then they can get fucked.
Well, here's the problem. There are two problems with this. One, these studios ain't doing it for anybody else but themselves. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Number two, these voice actors who this might be like one of their big movies that they've ever done. You know, it could be like their coup de grace, you know, on their resume. You know, I did this, I worked on this movie, and it made all sorts of money. Everything that they're doing is being overshadowed by the fact that there's this one big star.
Yeah.
Like, people were going, like, not an animated movie, not anything with voice acting, maybe. But, like, did you know that Brad Pitt was in the first, one of the Deadpool movies? Second one, I believe.
Yeah.
Do you know who he played? The invisible guy who got electrocuted. The only time you saw him on screen was when he was being electrocuted. That's it.
That's funny.
People were like, oh my God, Brad Pitt's in this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
So is Ryan Reynolds. You know, so are all these other
Sorry,
people.
Ryan Reynolds made that movie.
Well, Ryan Reynolds made Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like, Deadpool was great, but then Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool, fantastic.
Yeah.
But no, like, you can have all these wonderful voice actors, right? But they're all going to be overshadowed by the fact that there's one non-voice actor who is doing all this. Like, let's say Odie talks, right? And let's say he's being voiced by Chappelle, right?
Okay.
I couldn't think of anything.
Oh, yeah.
Chappelle blows it out of the water, right?
Yeah.
He portrays Odie. Odie is like the funniest shit, yada, yada, yada,
Yeah.
right? Are people going to talk about Chappelle?
No.
No.
They're going to talk about...
Correct. They're going to talk about Garfield and the voice of Garfield. That's it. And he's just going to be like, oh, yeah, I was in this movie. Who were you? Odie. Oh, I have to I have to go ahead and
Watch it again.
I have to pay attention.
And it's not fair.
Like it's
I
not
understand
fair.
that.
It's fucked.
And I understand that, but it's just like, why? I'm wondering why Chris Pratt.
Dude has been like, he's been in the Mario movies here recently. He's done the fucking Jurassic Worlds.
Yeah.
Like, dude's been to fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, bro's been all over the fucking place. Let's give him a fucking break. Let him take a vacation.
Right, with his family.
Yeah, but like, it's frustrating because you're in this position where you can hire whatever voice actor, whomever voice actor you want, right? We are a little biased because of Critical Role, stuff like that. There are tons of voice actors who are out there who are fantastic.
You know who would play a great Garfield?
Sam.
Let's start a petition. Either Sam or Liam.
Liam, no.
Yes,
Liam, no.
I think Liam would play a fantastic Garfield because he could curse under his breath, like when Garfield starts getting irritated with John and he's walking away mumbling something.
Now,
he can say something in German.
Here's what I will say. Travis is Nurgle.
Him or Sam?
Sam is Garfield.
No.
Travis is Nurgle.
Our jerk-ass cat is trying to open the door.
Okay, that's nice. I could see that. Because Travis is just the right amount of troll.
Yeah.
Like, I love watching him, and I love hearing him do his voiceovers.
Who's the sorry, brain function. Who is the girl cat?
No idea.
I'll have to look it up. But Marisha.
I can see Marisha doing that. I know who you're talking about. I don't know her name.
Yeah, we could stock Garfield production with Critical Role people. Matt as John.
No.
And the other adults that are human
No.
adults. You'd have like 5 parts.
Could not see. No. John would be more Liam or Taliesin.
Taliesin would play a great John.
Hmm.
Or the old Italian delivery guy would be a good Matt thing.
That would be a good Matt.
the one that supplies all the pizza and stuff, the one that runs the shop. Yeah, he'd be great by Matt. See, guys, we can recruit actors too.
Well, and here's the
them all
other
with
thing,
Critical Role
right?
players.
Here's the other thing that I kind of wanted to touch on because it was kind of in the same space. Five Nights at Freddy, the movie.
Okay, yeah, the new one.
You know that Matt Pat's in it?
Yeah.
He is in one of the first scenes, and he's only in that one scene.
You know who else is in it?
No.
The king of
He's not. He wasn't able to
horror
be in
movies.
it. Horror movies or horror games?
King of all horror movies.
Stephen King?
No.
I don't fucking know that.
He also plays Shaggy.
Matthew Lillard? I know he's in it. I know he's in it. But that's not what I'm saying. Matt Pat's in Five Nights at Freddy's.
I want to watch it.
Mark was supposed to be in Five Nights at Freddy's. However, there were scheduling issues, scheduling conflicts. He was making his own movie,
Yeah.
which I want to see. But
Will you watch Five Nights at Freddy's with me?
Maybe.
It's only like 110 minutes long.
Maybe. We'll see.
We should watch it tonight.
No. No. Anyways. But no, like, I love the fact that these YouTubers who made this game blow the fuck up are being a part of it. Dado's in it. Matt Pat's in it. Matt Pat has like an entire some 60-odd episodes of Game Theory just talking about Five Nights.
And it's not over yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, also they're one of the kids of one of these YouTubers is actually playing the kid that's on the screen for the movie.
Okay.
So that's why I want to watch it. I want to see who we recognize.
But they should be getting these people these groups involved in these movies, because it's like you're taking away jobs from other people.
To give it to people who are able to get jobs left, right, and center.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I get it.
Like it's frustrating. It sucks to see people who, this is what they do, this is what they train for, this is what they're good at, not getting a spot because we want to put so and so, this big name actor, in this movie because it's gonna make more money. Or alternatively, you could create your own star by using some of these people who most people don't know who the fuck they is, and I'm frustrated.
Give it a chance to flourish.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyways. So one more from you, and depending on how long this one goes, I may have another one.
I don't know. I think this is going to be one of those short episodes.
We're only at like about half an hour.
Yeah.
And we've already talked about two things in detail.
Yeah.
And
so the last one that I have,
okay.
It comes up with a question.
Okay.
It says, can strong solar storms take down the internet?
Yes.
Scientists say it's possible.
Yes.
So I'm going to read the couple of things that I noticed about it.
So before you jump into that, I'm going to say this right now. Absolutely. Because a solar flare, for those who don't know, or they never learned, or they've forgotten, we have this phenomena in our solar system called solar winds. What a solar wind is it is the byproduct of a solar flare, because the sun is a giant nuclear reactor in space. And so it is constantly firing off energy. That energy flows through the universe, and it comes across Earth and all the other planets. But it's called the solar wind because it acts like a wind, like the winds on Earth, right? When there's a strong enough solar flare, that tosses out a bunch of atoms and particulates and shit into the universe that then comes into contact with our atmosphere, and that's when we get like the northern and southern lights.
Electromagnetic storms.
Yes. There's the key in that, right where you just said it. The electromagnetic.
Mm-hmm.
Satellites, which are up in space, are electric. They run off of, every part of them is electricity.
Solar power.
So most of them are solar powered. There are a few of the older ones that are up there that are still running off of like
overload
fuel.
the circuits by a freaking solar flare.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's going to happen.
And here's the thing: that's what the internet is run off of. Some of these satellites. I mean, you have like Dish TV, right? You have Dish, who does internet. Whatever Elon's fucking bullshit star, whatever fuck, I don't remember what it's called.
The penis ship.
No, the internet that he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Star whatever the fuck it's called. That's satellite stuff. Mm-hmm. Whenever you're using the internet, you're bouncing signals off of fucking satellites.
And radio signals and
if
everything
a satellite
else
goes down, guess what?
No
you don't
internet.
have it. If a bunch of satellites go down, we're fucked.
Because
GPS don't work.
Yeah.
Fucking internet don't work. We're gonna have to go back to fucking using maps.
So, so it says Professor Peter Becker, a lead researcher at George Mason University, recently told Fox Weather that the sun has been relatively quiet as the internet came of age, but there's a 10% chance that in the next decade something really large is going to happen that could potentially wipe out the internet. So he pointed out 1859 Carrington event was a coronal mass ejection. It was basically a large plasma magnetic field from the sun.
It was a giant solar flare.
Yeah. So it says when a CME heads towards our planet, it can interfere with critical infrastructure such as power grids, satellites, navigation, and GPS systems, radio transmitters, and communications equipment. And solar storms are expected to become more violent and severe. So
Well, while you're looking for that next part, There was actually a pretty decent solar flare that happened a few years ago,
Yeah.
and it interrupted satellites
Satellite communications
for a hot minute.
Yeah.
And like people in certain areas didn't have internet, they didn't have any way of communicating. Like airplane like systems and GPSs weren't working, and then they finally were able to get it back up. That was a mild fucking solar flare.
So this last part, the reason why I said this is going to be kind of a shorter one, but it's something that is in your wheelhouse. The likelihood of solar superstorms has risen as the sun approaches its most active phase.
Yeah.
Experts at NOAA's Space Weather Prediction Center have predicted that the sun will reach its maximum, the peak of its 11-year cycle, between January and October of 2024.
Yeah.
Solar storms are challenging to predict, so Becker is working with the Naval Research Laboratory to create an early warning system to warn of possible magnetic field disruptions within 18 to 24 hours to mitigate the problem. So they're trying to do something like a tornado warning for
solar
flares.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
Woo. Well,
Okay.
no. So here's the thing with that. The sun from Earth is 93 million miles away. Right?
Yeah.
It takes time for light, like 8 minutes, for light from the sun to hit Earth.
Yeah.
I think it's 8 minutes. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's that. Not really sure.
Don't quote him.
Solar flares are the same thing.
Yeah.
It takes time to get from, like, when the solar flare blip itself out there across the surface to shoot shit off for it to hit the planet. However, we have gotten pretty good at being like, oh, hey, there's going to be a solar flare, just watching, just from observing. I mean, that's what observation is, is watching for patterns. You can pick up on patterns.
So this next part of the statement, it says, if we have a warning, every minute counts because you can put satellites in safe mode. You can take transformers offline from the grid so they don't fry. And then more long term, you're talking about hardening the internet. See, and that's the thing, is like, how easy is it going to be to remotely put a satellite, all satellites and all power grids into a safe mode or offline mode?
When it comes to, like, satellite-wise, it's a giant computer program, right?
Yeah.
It depends, because some of the satellites that we have up there are older. So, like, their systems haven't been really updated. Because sometimes in order to update the system, you actually have, like, to upgrade the software, you have to connect to the source. I mean, it's just like updating your fucking PC.
Or your phone.
You have to go in and be like, I have
accept this update and hook something up. Yeah. And see, the thing...
But with these more modern satellites, it's easy. You just hit a control, type in a command, all in this area, and boop, safe mode, cool. Takes a couple minutes because up to the satellite, and then the satellite okay, and then goes ahead and does it. But like, so you could, in theory, turn off batches of satellites or put them into safe mode relatively quickly.
Yes.
The power transformers, on the other hand,
the power grids. Period. Think about it this way: if they do this, the entire world will be dark.
I'm down.
But the other problem is...
I'm down. Well, no. One half of the world will be dark. Here's why. The half of the world that's going to be dark is the half of the world that's facing the sun.
Yeah.
The other half of the world...
is already dark.
Is the dark part of that is protected by the light side.
But see, the thing is...
flights, yeah, I know.
Flights.
But that's why if they can get...
hospitals.
That's why if they can get this system set up where they can have...
early warning detection.
Yeah. They can be like, okay, we're supposed to get a bunch of, this really bad solar flare that's potentially going to fuck shit up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Flights need to be delayed or canceled or whatever. Hospitals, y'all need to be ready to go kick on your generators.
Generators?
Yeah.
are operated by the power grid for hospitals.
No.
Yep.
No. Generators, the backup generators.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, let's say an entire part of the city goes out because a transformer explodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those damn Decepticons. Bad joke. I don't care. The backup generators
Mm-hmm.
are operated by fuel. They're gas powered. Or they're battery powered and they've been charging. We do have the capability of having batteries that hold power for an extended period of time. They're called deep cell batteries, right?
Yes. But the problem is when you get the high electronic solar flare, these have so many electronics in it that is going to fry them.
It depends on where it's at. Because if they get an early enough warning system, right?
Yeah.
The Earth itself has a layer of the atmosphere called the ionosphere, right?
Yeah.
It's where there's a bunch of ions, hence ionosphere, that bounce shit off, right? Or they absorb it, they get excited, and then they start glowing, hence northern and southern
Lights. Yeah.
light show, right? If we get that early enough warning system, we can have things already set in motion. I mean, you want something that's real fucking simple to understand? Have you ever microwaved a piece of aluminum foil?
No.
What happens is the microwaves hit the aluminum foil, bounce off, right back in, and overload and heat that part up, which then causes the microwave to explode, right?
Okay.
Let's say we just cover just basic, not actual this, but like a thought is treat these solar flares like they're microwaves and put up like aluminum foil over these backup generators. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to bounce that shit off.
And destroy our ionosphere.
No. The
Or our
ionosphere,
atmosphere.
ionosphere is set up to do that. The ionosphere absorbs a lot of this energy, these particulates, and all this stuff. Like
radiation.
That is what it's there for, right? That is how the planet, the atmosphere is designed. Redundancy systems. We have the ionosphere, and that absorbs a lot of it. Then we have the cloud layer that absorbs a lot of it too. Like comparatively, the stuff that hits the surface of the planet from the sun is not even like a tenth, I think. I can't remember what
it's infinitesimal compared to what could happen.
Exactly. If we didn't have the ionosphere,
we'd be fried a long time ago.
The planet would have been cooked.
Oh yeah.
But because we have it, and we have this ozone layer
and the troposphere
bounces everything off, and we have the ionosphere that absorbs stuff, and we have the cloud layer that absorbs it. By the time it reaches the surface, it is so much smaller.
I can tell you one thing that we're going to do if we get that early warning system and they tell us
building a hobbit hole.
No, and they tell us that there's a solar flare that's going to be coming tomorrow. So, we're going to unplug all our fucking electronics because you know for a fact that if our shit's plugged in, our shit will get hit.
Well,
because that's just our luck.
That's why I want to build a hobbit hole. And we just have
underground.
We have everything being run off of thermonuclear or thermal power.
Yeah.
You dig it low, you dig it deep enough, and you can use...
Dig a little deeper.
I was thinking more diggy hole, but but you can use power from the earth to keep all your shit up. And then, hey, look, we are protected.
We would definitely have several generators.
We wouldn't need generators.
I would still have several generators. Because when we go into an ice age, there's no thermal. Nothing.
There's no thermal on the surface. There's still this thing inside the earth called magma.
Yeah, are we going to be building our house that close to magma? No.
Why not?
Because the only way we're building our house that close to magma is if we have a magmatic moat.
Bitch, it will remind you of home.
No.
Hell.
Plus, then our house would be all hot all the time.
Then we just open up the front door for like 5 minutes and it cools off the entire house and we're like, go.
Ice Age.
No, like, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Anything is fucking possible, especially when it comes to
Can you
that kind of
imagine
shit.
the crippling this generation? No internet. What are we gonna do?
Go outside.
You have these things called imagination.
Well, no, okay. Okay. See, here's the problem. You were born before, like,
The internet.
we both were born before the internet. However, your half of the generation was more like it took your half of the generation to figure stuff out,
Yeah.
right? With me and my part of the generation, we're right on that
cusp.
middle
Yeah.
cusp, right? Where we know how to do all this stuff by hand and, you know, how to go outside and have fun and all that kind of stuff. But we also know,
The internet side.
yeah. So, like, for you'd be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Gibbs.
I'd love it.
My part of the like, I would be okay because I got fucking books.
Yeah.
Books are books. Let's go. You know, but like, there are people who are younger
These
than
teenagers.
us. Yeah, they'd be fucked.
Oh, yeah.
Our oldest would be distraught.
Our middle son would be distraught.
Distraught.
Our daughter would be like, okay, I'm going to sleep.
Okay,
Wake
I'm gonna
me up
go over.
when it's over.
I'm going over to my friend's house.
Wake me
Okay.
up when it's over.
Yeah. But no, like, is it possible? Absolutely. But what most people don't realize is a lot of these satellites and a lot of these things are built with redundancy systems on them.
Yeah.
Like, could this happen? Worst possible scenario? Yes, it could. Is it likely to happen? No.
Like you said, it's 10% chance.
It's a redundancy system on top of a redundancy system, wrapped in a redundancy system. Like,
Can you imagine if it actually does happen and they don't have that early warning system up and we're all just fucked with no internet, no GPS, no nothing?
okay.
Have to go back to maps.
Okay.
Not Google Maps, people. Actual paper maps.
Okay.
And reading.
You want to know where I'm going? Nowhere.
And reading.
I can live my life to my little introvert's delight.
And, you know, playing board games.
And
having
to
family time.
well, and having to actually interact with your neighbors rather than, you know, just talking shit about them online.
Instead
no.
of letting your thumbs do the talking, you actually use this thing called your voice.
Well, here's the other thing. The reason the internet even exists is military.
Yeah.
Like, plain and simple. The internet was born because of the military. Military ain't going to allow something like this. I can almost guarantee you
They've already got something.
if they don't already have something in plan or in have
play.
it planned, then they within 48 hours there will be some rudimentary form of the internet so the military can operate.
Yeah. I can imagine that. I can see
The
that.
same it could potentially take out like any sort of communication, anything to do with communications. Planes, obvious example. Here's a not so obvious example. Trucks.
Mhm.
Over the road truckers.
Mhm.
Here's another not so obvious example. Freightliners. Like ocean, like ships.
Mhm.
Here's another not so obvious example. Trains.
Oh yeah.
They all are run off of this stuff. There ain't no way in hell.
They'd go back to steam and coal? No.
Well, it wouldn't go that far.
Oh, I can guarantee you
It
they'd
wouldn't
figure
go
something
back.
else.
It wouldn't go that far. But the communication part of it, like I said, within 48 to 72 hours, I can almost guarantee that there would be some rudimentary form of long distance communication set up and ready to go. So that way, those arms of whatever that I just mentioned can still operate.
There is already a very rudimentary form of communication.
We're not talking smoke signals.
Morse code.
I'm not talking about that either. Because Morse code, you have to transmit it. You have to bounce it off of the atmosphere, and then it goes down. Or if you're talking like direct, like wires, yeah. But if these systems are crashed, no, you can't use it. I'm talking there will be a rudimentary form of modern day long distance communication fixed and
Guarantee
up
you
and
the
running.
general public would not have any of it.
Not at first. They would have, and the main branches like police and fire and emergency services and the military would have it first, and the government would have it first. Then
Let's face it, the
over-the-road
government would have it first before any of us.
No, the military would.
I don't know.
Military would have it first. Then the emergency services at the same time that the government would have it. Then transportation would have it. And after they have figured all that out and they know that it's not going to overload the system, then they would start doing it in small batches for the general public to use.
Yeah.
So I can tell you one thing: if that was to happen, the USPS would start getting bumped back up, and they would start getting more attention put back on them.
Right.
We actually have to write letters.
Write letters. Yeah, some of them can't read them. We can cripple an entire generation with cursive too.
True.
Except for our children. I've taught our children cursive.
Well,
Ish.
yeah. But no, like there would I can almost guarantee that within a very short amount of time, there would be some form back up and running, and then it'd be like nothing ever happened. The only thing that by doing a complete restart of the internet,
Yeah.
they could potentially put more blocks, more control
Oh, yeah.
over it, and
Block access to certain sites because they take up too much bandwidth.
or just block certain things, and we would have a more secure internet.
Yeah, I don't
this
see that
dark
happening.
web stuff wouldn't exist anymore.
I don't foresee that happening because some of the military is involved with the dark web stuff.
Yeah, some of the police are too.
Yeah. Corrupted
But
ass
no, I mean
motherfuckers.
it's
I know.
once again, could it happen? Sure. Is it going to happen?
In our lifetime?
Probably
not.
Not even like as technology goes forward, there's more things that gets added, more things that get innovated.
Like protections and
yeah.
safeguards. Oh, yeah. Those redundancies that we talk
Mhm.
about.
If it was going to happen, it's going to happen with our generation, like with the generation that the technology where it's at now.
Like 2024 is what they're predicting.
Yeah, it's going to happen at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Is it going to? I highly doubt it.
No, and like I said,
I seriously highly doubt
it's
it.
a slim chance, but it's still a chance, and
It's-
that's why I wanted. That's why I wanted to talk about it because it's just like
Well, like I
we've
said,
known about solar flares and solar interruptions for years.
oh yeah,
So why don't we already have something, people?
because it all depends
Actually,
on.
we probably already do have something. They're just playing like they don't, and they'll be like, "Hey, guess what we got?"
Well, no, it's not even that. It's need. Like when we first noticed that the sun was on this cycle, there wasn't a big need for it. And as it's gone through these cycles over the years, and we've gotten our technology up to where it's at now, we didn't as it was happening, we were realizing it at that point, like, oh hey, this can happen, we need to have this going. This can happen, we need to have this going. Hence the redundancy systems. The redundancy systems are going to save it. The only thing to go from there is if something like a catastrophic solar flare happened.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
No, like I'm talking like potentially world ending.
Yeah, an
solar
alley
flare
event.
happened.
Yeah.
But that that won't happen in our generation. That won't even happen in our lifetime. That won't
No.
even happen in our children's lifetime. We're talking like
5, 6, 7 generations down the line.
I'm thinking even more than that. Like
Oh, yeah.
when the sun finally goes supernova.
When the sun goes supernova, just
Well, by that time we'll all
That's
be
it.
dead.
nah.
Anybody who's listening to this will probably be dead.
But yeah, it's like that's why I wanted to talk about it, because it's kind of interesting to me. Like, I like the astrology aspects. I like the fact that they're bringing these things up, because it kind of makes you think, how much internet do I use a day?
Well, everybody uses a lot of the internet every day.
And that's the thing. It's like, how
like,
do we...
Take, for example, right now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 devices just in this house in this house right now that's using it. 8 technically lights.
Yeah.
They are all connected in the web, whether it's the internet or the intranet for just like our little section here.
Oh yeah.
We use the internet for just about everything these days. I mean, there are some refrigerators that will order food for you right from the refrigerator.
You can go on to Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everything from one of the new LG refrigerators.
You can Tesla. Well, if the vehicle senses, hey, I need new tires, the Tesla itself can automatically order new tires for the car, and then let you know, oh, hey, by the way, you have an appointment to get new tires.
That's kind of scary. That's AI's taking over the planet.
AI. That's virtual intelligence. That's not artificial intelligence.
I know, but still, that's getting closer to the robots taking over.
Well,
I mean, look at this. A lot of car manufacturers now are moving to strictly robot operations.
Yeah, it's robots building robots.
It's retarded.
But
it's like, we're going to have the Autobots and the Decepticons before no time.
I'm thinking more Overwatch.
That too.
Omnic Crisis. Anyways, no, can it happen? Sure. Can anything happen? Absolutely. We could wake up tomorrow and to hear the news.
We could wake up dead.
We could wake up tomorrow to our phones going off with a message on it saying, oh, hey, there's an asteroid that's going to strike the Earth. Bruce Willis, save us. and there would be nothing that we could do about it.
No, it's bend over, grab your ankle, stick your head between your knees, and kiss your ass goodbye.
Does it mean that, is it highly unlikely? Yes. However, that the chance is never zero.
Exactly.
But blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yep. Thinking hurts.
Yes.
So I think that we should call it here. Thank y'all so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you're listening to us on Spotify and you want to show Spotify that you like what you hear, download the episode. It really helps us out, and it shows Spotify we want to hear more of what these people have to say. If you would like to donate, we do have a link in the description of the episode. You can put as much or as little money that you want in there. We're not saying you have to, but if you choose to, we really do appreciate it. And it does show us, hey, we like what we're hearing. We want to hear more of these people, But thank y'all so much.
So very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. As always, don't forget to love each other.
Don't be a dick.
And don't be a dick.
Hey, I got one more thing before we cut off.
What's that?
What did one saggy boob say to the other? Better perk up or people will think we're nuts. Bye!
I am so sorry.